They wanted to get them out. The pilots wanted out. There was apprehension in some of their voices. They wanted to get on the ground as quick as they could. They didn't know, but there was more terrorist activity going to happen on their airplanes.
Delta 1-2.
The electronics couldn't keep up to the level of traffic that we had.
Lufthansa 446, estimating 14.
So we were doing a lot of voice coordination. The old school of just verbal estimates on which aircraft was where, who was following who. The cooperation of the tower controller and the controllers in Gander Center kept everything straight so that we knew which aircraft was which in the sequence they were for the arrivals.
This day was intense.
And in Gander, Newfoundland.
This one up north already.
Perfect. Gander agency instructs you to turn right. Air France 004, I don't have time to chat right now.
This is American 49 Heavy.
Go ahead, American 49
Heavy.
When I finally plugged Gander into the computer, I realized that I was going to be 7,000 pounds over my max landing weight.
The aircraft that were not destined for Canada, they were going to be overweight for the arrival, and that's not a good situation. You certainly don't want to have an aircraft that's overweight, land on a runway, and then break the landing gear and become disabled on the runway with all this extra fuel. They had to get down to their landing weight. One way to do that is to dump fuel. This is not something the controller deals with on a regular basis.
Harold, got a 777 that needs to do a fuel dump. Stand by, we'll get back to you.
American 49 Heavy, standing by.
Typically what happens is the aircraft is put over an isolated area. It needs to be high enough to where the fuel will evaporate before it reaches the ground. And they also need to isolate that aircraft and ensure that no other aircraft are going to be transversing the airspace beneath it with at least 2,000 feet.
You have to be careful as to how you're maneuvering the airplanes to keep them all clear of each other.
Reg,
Yeah?
can you set up a flight path for a fuel dump, please? Bet you half these planes are going to need it.
Got it.
American 49, we're going to set you up with an area near Gander for your fuel dump. Stand by.
Copy that, Gander.
Our mindset is to gas and go and to get home. That's the completion of the mission. But the first step in this mission now has been changed to landing safely and coordinate with the controllers to begin dumping fuel to get down to landing weight.
American 49, contact Gander Center on 131.8 to complete your fuel dump.
American 49, roger.
American 49, Gander Center. For fuel dump, proceed 50 miles due east, descend to 18,000. Commence dump there.
Copy that, Gander Center. Northeast 50 miles, descend 18,000.
They started clearing the airspace or making sure that they had a good area to send me to. So they basically just gave me a vector, and that was the heading I stayed on until I jettisoned the 7,000 pounds.
Commencing fuel dump now.
It's high-octane fuel. It's risky business. Explosion, fires, and then you're into a real catastrophic deal if that were to happen.
See this?
As much as it might shock some people, if you begin to dump fuel at the higher altitude you are, it disperses and atomizes before it actually reaches the ground.
Gander Center, American 49 Heavy.
Fuel dump complete.
Roger, American 49 Heavy. Fly heading 190.
Once the aircraft gets down to its landing weight or below, it will be resequenced to the back of the line and have an attempted approach.
They then vectored me onto a 95-mile final into runway 21 into Gander.
Air France 004, I don't have time to chat right now.
Decisions had to be made. There was so much information that you had to take in. It was too much for one person at that point.
It's a small town, word gets around. The controllers who were off came in on their own volition. Without being called, they knew we needed people. We went from the 2 or 3 seated that time of the day to 14.
Good to see you, bye.
It's good to see you.
They came together as a team, right? No rivalry, no animosity, no argument. Everybody pulls together, helping each other out. You know, if I'm, overcome with airplanes, you can take some off of my scope.
It was so gratifying and unbelievable that once word spread, we were actually turning down controllers who wanted to come in and work.
But you can't get too emotional about things.
Negative.
Even though you might be hurting, you got to cope with what's going on. You can't just get up and pull your headset out and say, I had enough.
It's highly orchestrated ballet that's occurring. We're getting prepared for the approach and landing, and that takes us down to lower altitude. It was interesting that this small base had a line of aircraft on final. It looked like Dallas-Fort Worth on a beautiful summer day at the peak of rush hour. This was not normal, and that we were landing.